The rancher's mother disguised herself to test the Apache girl. He said, "That's how I found true love." The ranch sat far from the busy towns, surrounded by wide open land, dry hills, and endless sky. Life there moved slowly, shaped by the sun, the seasons, and the daily care of animals. The rancher had grown up on this land. He was known as a quiet, hard-working man who spoke little but meant every word he said. People respected him because he treated everyone fairly and never broke a promise. Still, despite his good name and stable life, something felt missing. He lived with his mother in an old wooden house near the barns. His father had passed away years earlier, leaving the ranch in their care. Since then, the rancher and his mother depended on each other. She was wise, observant, and deeply protective of her son. She wanted to see him happy, settled, and surrounded by people who truly cared for him. Many women from nearby towns had shown interest over the years, but none stayed long. Some were uncomfortable with ranch life, while others seemed more interested in the land than the man himself. The rancher noticed these things, even if he never spoke about them. One early morning, as the sun rose and painted the sky with soft orange light, the rancher prepared for another long day. He checked the fences, fed the animals, and reviewed the work that needed to be done. That was when he was told a new worker would be arriving. Seasonal help was common, especially during busy months. He did not expect anything unusual, just another person looking for honest work. Later that day, a young Apache girl arrived at the ranch. She came quietly, carrying only a small bag and a calm presence. Her clothes were simple, her posture straight, and her eyes steady. She spoke politely, asking for work and offering her skills. There was no pride in her voice, but there was confidence. She explained that she had experience working with animals and land, and that she respected hard work. The rancher noticed how she waited patiently, not pushing or begging. He asked her a few questions, and she answered honestly without trying to impress him. Something about her felt different. She was not nervous, yet not bold either. It was as if she knew who she was and did not feel the need to prove it. He agreed to give her a chance. Work on the ranch was demanding, and many people left after just a few days. He explained the tasks clearly and told her she could leave any time if it was too much. She nodded, thanked him, and got to work without delay. From the first day, it was clear she was not afraid of hard labor. She worked under the sun without complaint, handled animals gently, and followed instructions carefully. When mistakes happened, she corrected them quietly and learned fast. She spoke only when needed, but when she did, her words were thoughtful. The rancher watched her from time to time while going about his own duties. He noticed how she treated the animals with respect, never rushing or forcing them. He saw how she helped other workers without being asked. There was no show, no desire for praise. She simply did what needed to be done. At home, the rancher's mother noticed changes too. She saw how her son seemed more focused, more thoughtful in the evenings. When she asked about the new worker, he spoke briefly, but there was something different in his tone. Not excitement, but interest. One afternoon, the mother decided to observe the girl for herself. She watched from a distance as the girl worked near the house, cleaning tools and organizing supplies. When the mother approached, the girl greeted her respectfully, offering help before being asked. She spoke gently, asking if the older woman needed anything. The mother was struck by her manners. Many people showed politeness only when they wanted something. This girl showed respect naturally. Still, the mother said little and simply thanked her. As days passed, the Apache girl became part of the ranch routine. She ate simple meals with the workers, rested when allowed, and returned to work without delay. She did not complain about the heat, the dust, or the long hours. Yet she did not seem unhappy either. There was a quiet strength in her presence. The rancher found himself thinking about her more often than he expected. He noticed small details, The way she listened carefully, the way she smiled softly at animals, the way she avoided gossip and conflict. He also noticed how others treated her. Some workers kept their distance, unsure how to act. She did not react with anger or sadness. She simply remained herself. One evening, while repairing a fence together, they spoke more than usual. The rancher asked about her background, careful not to be disrespectful. She shared a little about her people, her upbringing, and her belief in living with balance and respect. She spoke of family, responsibility, and honesty. She did not speak badly of anyone, even when talking about hardships. The rancher listened closely. Her words stayed with him long after the conversation ended. He realized he admired her way of seeing the world. It was simple, yet deep. At home that night, his mother noticed his silence. She understood that something important was unfolding, but she also knew that true character must be tested over time. She had seen too many people pretend kindness when it suited them. She wanted to be sure that the girl's goodness was real, not a mask. The ranch continued its steady rhythm. Days passed, filled with work, quiet moments, and small interactions. The Apache girl never tried to stand out, yet her presence could not be ignored. The rancher felt a growing sense of peace when she was nearby, something he had not felt in a long time. Unspoken questions lingered in the air. The mother watched closely, her mind forming a plan she had not yet shared. The rancher, unaware of what was coming, only knew one thing for certain. Something had begun to change, and he could feel it deep inside, even if he did not yet understand what it would lead to. The rancher's mother did not speak openly about what she was thinking, but her eyes missed nothing. She had lived long enough to know that true character often showed itself when no one was watching. Kind words were easy, but consistent actions were rare. She wanted to be certain that the goodness she sensed in the Apache girl was real and lasting, not just behavior meant to impress her son or secure work. One quiet morning, while the rancher was busy checking cattle far from the house, his mother made a decision. She chose old, worn clothes from a storage trunk and tied a faded scarf around her head. She leaned on a simple wooden stick and changed her posture to look weaker than she truly was. To anyone who did not know her well, she looked like a poor, tired old woman with little strength left. She planned to observe without revealing who she was. Later that day, she slowly walked toward the work area where the Apache girl was cleaning tools. Her steps were careful, her breathing shallow on purpose. When the girl noticed her, she stopped her work immediately and approached with concern. She asked gently if the old woman was all right and if she needed help. Her voice was calm, not impatient or annoyed. The mother asked if she could sit for a moment, saying her legs hurt. Without hesitation, the girl brought her a small stool and helped her sit in the shade. She offered water and waited quietly, not rushing her or asking questions that might feel uncomfortable. The mother thanked her softly and watched closely. After resting a bit, the mother asked for a small favor. She said she had dropped something near the barn and could not bend down easily. The Apache girl went with her right away. She searched the ground carefully until she found the item and returned it with care, as if it were something valuable. There was no sign of irritation, no sigh of complaint. Over the next few days, the disguised mother returned often. Sometimes she asked for help carrying light items. Other times, she asked simple questions about the ranch or the work. Once, she pretended to misunderstand instructions and made a small mess that needed cleaning. Each time, the Apache girl responded with patience. She never raised her voice or showed frustration. She cleaned up quietly and continued her work as if nothing had gone wrong. The rancher noticed these interactions from a distance, though he did not understand their purpose. He saw the girl helping an elderly woman again and again, never knowing that the woman was his own mother. Something in his chest felt warm when he watched. He told himself it was respect, nothing more, but the feeling stayed. One afternoon, the disguised mother deliberately arrived during the hottest part of the day. She said she felt tired and asked if the girl could sit with her for a while. The Apache girl agreed, even though it meant pausing her work. She sat beside her in the shade and listened as the older woman spoke slowly about loneliness, about feeling forgotten, about worries for the future. These were not lies. They were feelings the mother truly had. The girl listened carefully, never interrupting. She did not offer quick answers or empty comfort. She simply listened and nodded, showing understanding. When she spoke, she said that everyone needed care, no matter their age, and that no one was a burden when they were honest about their needs. Her words were simple, but they came from the heart. That moment stayed with the mother long after she returned to the house. She realized that the girl did not help because she wanted approval. She helped because it was part of who she was. This realization touched something deep inside her. The tests continued, though they became less about effort and more about values. One day, the mother mentioned losing money and wondered aloud if someone might have taken it. The Apache girl did not accuse anyone or join in suspicion. Instead, she suggested calmly that it might turn up and reminded the woman that trust was important in any community. Later, when the money was quietly placed back where it belonged, the mother felt ashamed for testing her this way, yet also thankful. Meanwhile, the rancher and the Apache girl began working together more often. They shared tasks that required cooperation, like repairing fences or guiding animals across fields. They spoke little, but when they did, their conversations felt natural. There was no pressure, no need to impress. Silence between them was comfortable. The rancher found himself noticing how the girl treated everyone the same, whether they were in charge or not. She did not change her tone or behavior based on status. This impressed him more than any charm ever could. At night, the mother reflected on everything she had seen. She remembered the women who had passed through her son's life before, some kind at first, others distant, some impatient with ranch life. None had shown this level of quiet consistency. None had treated an unknown old woman with such steady care. Still, she waited. She wanted to be absolutely certain. One evening, she pretended to trip near the well. The Apache girl rushed to her side, helping her up gently and checking if she was hurt. She stayed with her until she was sure she was fine, even though other work was waiting. There was worry in her eyes, real concern. The mother's heart softened fully in that moment. The rancher sensed that something important was happening, though he did not know what. He felt drawn closer to the Apache girl, not by attraction alone, but by deep respect. Watching her kindness towards someone she believed had nothing to offer her changed the way he saw love itself. As the days went on, the disguised visits grew fewer. The mother had learned what she needed to know. The Apache girl's goodness did not fade under pressure or repetition. It remained steady, like the land itself. Unaware of the test she had passed, the girl continued her work as always. She did not seek praise or reward. She simply lived according to her values. And somewhere between dust-filled afternoons and quiet evenings, the foundation of something true had been laid, even if none of them yet spoke its name. Life on the ranch slowly settled into a steady pattern, but beneath the calm surface, quiet changes were taking place. The Apache girl had now been working there long enough for people to stop seeing her as someone new. She was simply part of the ranch, as familiar as the barns, the animals, and the long stretches of land. Yet for the rancher and his mother, her presence carried a deeper meaning that continued to grow day by day. The rancher found himself relying on her more than he expected, not because she asked for responsibility, but because she proved again and again that she could be trusted. When tasks were difficult or required care, he naturally turned to her. She followed instructions carefully, but she also thought for herself. If she noticed a better way to do something, she would suggest it respectfully, never insisting. Most of the time, her ideas worked well. They spent many hours working side by side. Sometimes they talked about small things like the weather or the animals. Other times they worked in silence, each focused on the task at hand. The silence never felt uncomfortable. It felt peaceful, as if words were not always needed. The rancher began to notice that after long days, he felt less tired than before. He did not fully understand why. Perhaps it was because the work felt lighter when shared with someone who took it seriously. Or perhaps it was because her calm nature brought balance to the long, demanding days. The mother, no longer in disguise as often, continued to observe quietly. She watched how the girl behaved when no one was paying attention. She noticed how she returned tools to their place, how she cleaned up messes she did not create, and how she spoke kindly even when others were short-tempered. These small actions spoke louder than any words. One afternoon, a disagreement broke out between two workers over a mistake that had caused extra work. Voices grew tense, and blame passed back and forth. The Apache girl stepped in gently, not taking sides, but suggesting a solution that would fix the problem quickly. Her tone was calm and her words focused on the task rather than the argument. Slowly, the tension faded. The work continued. Later, one of the workers thanked her quietly. The rancher saw this and felt something shift inside him. He realized that strength did not always come from authority or loud words. Sometimes, it came from calm understanding. As weeks passed, the rancher and the Apache girl began to share small personal stories. He spoke about his father, about learning ranch life as a boy, and about the responsibility he felt toward the land and his mother. She listened carefully, never interrupting, never judging. When he finished, she did not rush to respond. She simply acknowledged his feelings. When she shared her own story, she did so slowly and carefully. She spoke of growing up with strong values, of learning respect for people, animals, and nature. She spoke of challenges without bitterness and of hope without unrealistic dreams. Her words reflected balance, something she believed deeply in. The rancher found himself thinking about these conversations long after they ended. They stayed with him during his work and even at night. He realized that he admired her not only for her kindness, but for her way of seeing the world. The mother noticed the growing bond and felt both relief and caution. She was glad her son was opening his heart, but she also knew that true understanding took time. She wanted to be sure that what was growing between them was built on respect, not illusion. One evening, the mother invited the Apache girl to help her prepare a simple meal. They worked together in the kitchen, chopping vegetables and cleaning dishes. The girl followed instructions carefully but also noticed when the mother grew tired. Without being asked, she took over heavier tasks and encouraged the older woman to rest. As they worked, the mother asked gentle questions about her life and beliefs. The girl answered honestly without trying to impress. She spoke about the importance of honesty, patience, and responsibility. She explained that she believed actions mattered more than words. The mother listened closely, feeling her doubts slowly disappear. After the meal, the girl thanked the mother for allowing her to help and clean the kitchen thoroughly before leaving. The mother sat alone afterward, feeling a quiet sense of peace. She realized she trusted this young woman completely. The rancher, meanwhile, struggled with his own thoughts. He felt drawn to the Apache girl in a way he had never felt before. It was not sudden or overwhelming. It was steady, growing slowly like roots deepening in the soil. He respected her deeply, and that respect formed the foundation of his feelings. Still, he said nothing. He feared misunderstanding her kindness or making her uncomfortable. He did not want to change the balance they had built. So he waited, observing his own heart, trying to understand it. The Apache girl also noticed changes, though she did not speak of them. She felt safe on the ranch, respected by the rancher and his mother. She valued that safety and did not want to disturb it. She focused on her work, her responsibilities, and the present moment. One day, while repairing a fence far from the house, the rancher injured his hand slightly. It was not serious, but it slowed his work. The Apache girl noticed immediately. She insisted he rest while she finished the task. When he hesitated, she reminded him calmly that caring for oneself was part of responsibility. She helped him clean the wound and wrapped it carefully, her movements gentle and focused. There was no panic, only care. In that moment, the rancher felt something he could not deny anymore. He realized that love was not about grand promises or dramatic moments. It was about showing up, again and again, with honesty and care. The mother saw this moment from a distance and smiled softly. She knew then that her test had not only revealed the girl's character, but had also allowed her son to see what truly mattered. As the sun set that evening, the ranch returned to its quiet state. The animals settled, the land cooled, and the sky darkened slowly. Nothing dramatic happened. No words were spoken about feelings or future plans, yet something important had changed. Trust had deepened, respect had grown. And between ordinary days and simple actions, something real was taking shape, ready to move toward a truth that could no longer remain hidden for long. The days that followed felt heavier, as if something important was waiting to be spoken. The rancher's mother carried a quiet certainty in her heart. She had seen enough. The test she had created was no longer needed, and keeping the truth hidden now felt wrong. She knew that honesty, when handled with care, could bring people closer instead of pushing them apart. One morning, she asked the Apache girl to walk with her toward the far side of the ranch, where the land opened wide and the wind moved gently through the grass. The girl agreed without hesitation, matching her pace so the older woman would not feel rushed. They walked in silence for a while, the sound of their steps soft against the earth. Finally, the mother stopped and turned to face her. Her posture straightened, and her voice grew steady. She told the girl that there was something important she needed to share. The Apache girl listened calmly, her eyes focused, her expression respectful. The mother explained that she was not a poor stranger as she had appeared before. She revealed that she was the rancher's mother and that she had chosen to hide her identity to understand the girl's true character. She spoke carefully, admitting that the test came from fear as much as love. She feared her son might be hurt by someone who did not truly care. The words hung in the air. The mother waited, unsure of what reaction would come. She expected shock, maybe anger, or even silence filled with disappointment. Instead, the Apache girl took a slow breath. She lowered her gaze briefly, not in shame, but in thought. When she looked up again, her expression was calm. She said that she felt no anger. She explained that she helped because it felt right, not because of who the woman was or might be. To her, respect did not depend on names or positions. Her response moved the mother deeply. Tears filled her eyes, not from sadness, but from relief. She apologized for the disguise and thanked the girl for her honesty and patience. She told her that she had earned her trust fully. They stood there for a long moment, the wind brushing past them, carrying away the last of the mother's doubts. Later that day, the mother spoke with her son. She told him everything, from the disguise to the many moments she had witnessed. She described the kindness she had received when she appeared weak and unnoticed. She spoke of patience, respect, and quiet strength. The rancher listened without interrupting. As the story unfolded, memories replayed in his mind. The girl helping without being asked, her calm during conflict, her steady presence during long days. He felt a mix of surprise and understanding. What his mother described matched what his heart already knew. He realized then why his feelings had grown so naturally. Love had not arrived suddenly. It had built itself slowly, through countless small actions. Watching how she treated his mother without knowing who she truly was had shown him more than any words ever could. Still, he felt nervous. He did not want to assume anything. He did not want to make her uncomfortable or risk the trust they had built. His mother noticed his hesitation and placed a gentle hand on his arm. She told him that honesty, spoken with care, was always better than silence born from fear. That evening, as the sun began to set, the rancher found the Apache girl near the barn, finishing her work. The sky glowed with warm colors, and the air felt calm. He approached slowly, giving her space, and asked if they could talk. They walked together toward a quiet spot where the land stretched wide. He thanked her for her hard work and for the respect she showed everyone on the ranch. He spoke simply, choosing his words carefully. He told her that watching her kindness, especially toward his mother, had changed the way he understood love and partnership. The Apache girl listened closely. She did not interrupt or turn away. When he finished, there was a brief silence, not uncomfortable but thoughtful. She spoke honestly. She said she valued the ranch, the work, and the trust she had been given. She admitted that she respected him deeply and felt safe in his presence. She explained that for her, any future had to be built on equality, patience, and shared values, not on pressure or expectations. The rancher nodded. He told her that this was exactly what he wanted too. He did not promise grand things or make dramatic claims. He simply said that he wished to walk forward slowly, with honesty, allowing trust to guide them. There was no sudden decision, no dramatic moment, just understanding. Over the following days, their connection felt clearer, more grounded, nothing rushed or forced. They continued working as before, but with a new openness. Small smiles replaced silence. Shared glances carried meaning without words. The mother watched quietly, her heart full. She saw how both of them moved with care, respecting each other's pace. She knew then that love, when it was real, did not demand attention. It grew quietly, like the land itself. One afternoon, the mother invited them both to sit together for a simple meal. The three of them talked about ordinary things: the ranch, the seasons, plans for repairs. Yet beneath the simple conversation was a shared understanding. Trust had replaced doubt. The Apache girl thanked the mother again for her honesty. The mother replied that she was grateful for the lesson she herself had learned. That kindness given freely was the strongest foundation for any family. As night fell, the ranch settled into its familiar calm. The animals rested, the land cooled, and the stars appeared one by one. The rancher stood outside for a moment, looking at the sky. He felt certain in a way he never had before. He understood now that true love was not found by searching desperately or testing loudly. It revealed itself quietly, through respect, patience, and the courage to see people as they truly are. And though the final words had not yet been spoken, the path ahead was clear, steady, and filled with the promise of something real. The change on the ranch did not arrive with noise or celebration. It came quietly, like the early morning light that slowly spread across the land. After the honest conversations and shared understanding, life continued much the same on the surface. The animals still needed care, the fences still needed repair, and the days still began before sunrise. Yet something had shifted deeply, giving everything a warmer meaning. The rancher no longer felt uncertain when he worked beside the Apache girl. There was clarity now, not confusion. He treated her with the same respect as always, but with greater openness. He spoke more freely, sharing thoughts he once kept to himself. She listened as she always had, with patience and attention, and she shared her own thoughts more often too. They did not rush anything. Both understood that strong bonds needed time. Instead of promises, they offered consistency. Instead of big words, they showed care through actions. The ranch became a place not just of work, but of shared purpose. The mother watched with quiet happiness. She noticed how her son smiled more easily and how the Apache girl seemed more at peace. There was no tension, no uncertainty. Everything felt balanced. The mother felt proud not just of her son, but of the woman who had entered their lives with humility and strength. One afternoon, the rancher asked the Apache girl if she would like to walk with him to the far edge of the land, where the fields opened wide and the sky seemed endless. They walked slowly, speaking about simple things. He spoke about his hopes for the ranch, about improving it without losing its heart. She spoke about her respect for the land and her belief that people should care for what supports them. As they walked, he paused and looked at her. His voice was steady when he spoke. He told her that he did not know what the future would bring, but he knew he wanted to face it with someone who valued honesty, patience, and respect as much as she did. He said that watching her kindness toward his mother without knowing who she was showed him what real love looked like. She listened quietly, then smiled softly. She said that for her, love was not something to be rushed or demanded. It was something that grew naturally when two people chose respect every day. She said she was willing to continue walking this path with him, step by step, without pressure. That moment did not feel dramatic, but it felt right. The seasons began to change. The land shifted in color and temperature, reminding everyone that time never stood still. Through it all, the rancher and the Apache girl continued to work together, support each other, and learn about one another. They faced challenges like broken equipment, unpredictable weather, and long days, but they faced them together. The mother gradually stepped back, allowing them space to grow. She no longer felt the need to test or protect. She trusted both of them fully. Sometimes she watched from the porch, seeing them work side by side, and felt grateful for the quiet lessons life had taught her. One evening, after a long day, the three of them shared a simple meal. Laughter came easily now. The Apache girl spoke more freely, sharing stories and thoughts. The rancher listened with warmth in his eyes. The mother felt something she had not felt in years, a sense of wholeness. Later that night, the rancher stood outside, looking at the stars. His mother joined him. He thanked her for her guidance and her honesty, even though he knew her test had come from love. She told him that true love was something no parent could choose, but it was something a parent could recognize when it appeared. Days turned into weeks, and the bond between the rancher and the Apache girl grew stronger. It was built on shared work, shared silence, and shared values. There was no need for constant reassurance. Trust had already been earned. Eventually, the rancher spoke openly to others about his feelings. He did not boast or seek approval. He simply spoke the truth. Those who knew him well understood. They had seen the change in him, the calm confidence, the steady happiness. The Apache girl remained humble, never acting differently because of the attention. She continued to work hard, treat everyone with respect, and stay true to her values. This only deepened the rancher's respect for her. One quiet morning, as the sun rose gently over the land, the rancher reflected on everything that had led him here. He thought about the long years of solitude, the false hopes, and the lessons learned through disappointment. He realized that true love had not arrived through force or searching. It had revealed itself through patience and observation. He remembered his mother's disguise, and the way the Apache girl had shown kindness without knowing who she was helping. That memory stayed with him more than any other. It reminded him that character mattered more than appearance, and actions mattered more than words. When he finally spoke the words that had been forming in his heart, they came naturally. He said that this was how he found true love, not through grand gestures, but through witnessing kindness when no reward was expected. The Apache girl understood. She did not need dramatic declarations. She saw love in his consistency, his respect, and his willingness to grow. The ranch continued its quiet life, but it now held something deeper. It was no longer just land and labor. It was a place where trust had been tested and proven, where respect had built something lasting. The mother rested easier, knowing her son's future was built on strong ground. The rancher walked forward with confidence, guided by understanding rather than fear. And the Apache girl stood beside him, equal and respected, her values unchanged. In the end, the story was not about a test or a disguise. It was about truth revealing itself through everyday choices. It was about love found not by looking outward, but by paying attention to what truly mattered. And on that quiet ranch under wide open skies, a simple truth remained clear. Real love did not need to be announced loudly. It showed itself patiently and honestly to those willing to see it.